What is happening, my people? This is Tim Dodd with the Tim Dodd Show, and today I want to share with you how to develop your KPIs, your key performance indicators. Now, I have a client that came to me recently, and he was using the wrong KPIs. He came to me and was measuring the wrong parts of his funnel, and so he actually didn't know what was wrong, why they weren't closing deals. So they had all of these opportunities coming to them, and none of them were closing. And when we started looking at the KPIs, he was measuring the wrong ones, so we actually couldn't diagnose it. It's critical that you're developing and that you're measuring the right KPIs. Otherwise, you're gonna get far down the road, and it doesn't matter that you're doing it because you've done it wrong. You're not gonna be able to diagnose. For instance, this client, he was measuring, like opportunities and then proposals and then number of closed deals, but he was missing a lot of numbers in between. So when I asked him, hey, what is your no-show rate? Meaning for every book call, every 10 book calls, how many of those are actually showing up? And he couldn't give me those numbers, which is a very important part in your funnel. And okay, for the number of book calls that are showing up, how many of those are getting a proposal? He couldn't give me those numbers because he was measuring the wrong numbers in his funnel. So if you want to understand how to develop your KPIs right from the start so that you have the right numbers so you can diagnose your funnel, which is critical to really optimizing your sales, this video is going to give you the 7 steps to do that. And who am I to even give you that advice? Well, I'll tell you, we've trained over 20,000 people how to build and scale their clients and their sales teams, as well as manage over 300 clients directly. And these are clients ranging anywhere from the solopreneur to companies with hundreds of sales reps doing millions of dollars, hundreds of $1 million in business a year. So before I jump in and do that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I do drop new videos, and I want to make sure that I can help you do 2 things. I want to help you sell more, and I want to help you scale more. Number 1 in this process is you need to know your why. What is the goal? What is the purpose of getting these KPIs? When people get too much data and too many numbers and too many statistics and all this stuff, no one knows why and there's no exact purpose behind it, you're not gonna get buy-in, for one. And for number 2, numbers have to give you cues on what you need to fix. For instance, if I'm looking at a funnel and I say number of leads that turn to a booking, number of bookings that turn to a proposal, number of proposals that turn to a deal. Right? And a number that didn't turn to a deal, number of follow-ups for how long, and then at what point did that turn to a deal or not turn to a deal? Like if I understand all those numbers, I can go, okay, we're only getting 50% of our bookings to actually show up. Let's fix that problem. Okay, we're getting all of our show-ups, only half of our reps are actually sending out the proposals when it should be 100%. Okay, let's fix that. Knowing those numbers, knowing the why behind the numbers allows us to pick the right numbers. What's the why behind each number? Number 2 is that these KPIs should have clear outcomes for the individual and for the company. Now, I kind of gave an example of sales KPIs, but the reality is very important for every KPI in the company. So if it's your marketing team, they have KPIs that are clearly tied to the results they're producing for their company, as well as the results that they can produce for themselves and for their career. The more that you can tie the KPIs to the outcomes and the results in the story, the better you're gonna get buy-in from the team, and the more results you're actually gonna get from the data you collect on these KPIs. Number 3 is keep them relevant. They have to be relevant. They have to be, remember, I gave you the example of the sales KPIs from our client. He was not using the relevant KPIs. He was saying opportunities, number of proposals, and number of closed deals. So he was not, the KPIs were not relevant. Now, we're not just talking about sales KPIs. This is for all of the company. And you wanna make sure that each KPI you track is relevant and is tied to the other KPIs in a way that you can understand the journey of whatever those KPIs ultimately leading to a result are. Number 4 is keep them easy to input and easy to understand. If they're complex to put in, if your sales reps, if your marketing team, if these KPIs are hard to put in, people aren't gonna do it, which means you're not gonna have good data or they're not gonna do it well. So you wanna either automate it as much as you can for your KPIs or make it extremely easy to put in, as well as making sure that you're keeping them accountable on having it put in, because if they're not putting the data in, then you're not gonna have an accurate reading on any of that data. So automate as much of it as you can, and then make the rest of it easy and accountable to do, as well as making sure that interpreting the data, looking at the data is not only easy, but it's actually helpful for each person in their role. Let me ask you a question on that. Have you ever worked with somebody or talked to somebody that they just make things overly complicated for seemingly no reason? And it's just like, dude, you could make this so simple. Why are you making this complex? Why are you making this crazy? It's because what happens is we will sometimes get very invested in these little numbers and graphs, and then we build it up and we build up all this meaning and all this complexity to it. And we go, it's perfect. And we haven't stepped back and made it simple. So you're gonna go through this process of what about this? What about this? But at the end of the day, it's critical that you make it as simple as possible so that people can input it easily and so that people can interpret it easily. Number 5 is use these KPIs to have a daily pulse. You wanna be able to understand, you wanna be able to pull up in live, if possible, on your phone, on the dashboard, wherever. This needs to be easily accessible. People need to see this. The KPIs are updated on a daily basis, an hourly basis if you can do it. Keep these things updated so everybody knows the pulse of the company, where they're at, how the KPIs are trending, and at least once a day, you should be updating these so that the team knows how they performed yesterday, how they performed last week, how they performed this month to date versus last month to date. We need to know these numbers so that we can make good decisions on a daily basis. If you wait to the end of the month to review last month's and go, oh, we gotta fix it now, you're waiting too long to fix it. You should be fixing and adjusting every single day. Number 6 is that you should be setting up meetings with key stakeholders once a week, doing a quick meeting saying, here's what the numbers are at, and making adjustments, making tweaks strategically, as well as month over month. So you're looking at these quick meetings where you're looking at the KPIs and you're seeing what's tracking, what's going up, what's going down, what do we need to do adjust on a weekly basis, so we're constantly moving this throughout the month, and then also on a monthly basis, so we're gonna look at it big picture over the year, over the quarter. But it's very, very important not only to have that daily pulse, but also to have strategic meetings on an ongoing basis. Now, you obviously don't wanna bog yourself down with meetings, but you wanna have enough meetings that you're able to quickly adjust and move based off of the KPIs that you're collecting. Number 7 is actually my favorite. You wanna make sure that this creates transparency and like a leaders board so that people can see this on the screens, on a daily, on a regular, so that they can see where they're at compared to where they should be compared to other people. When you have that clear transparency and accountability, people perform better. They do. It's just human nature. I perform better when I have accountability. I'm the owner of the company, and I perform better when I see where I'm at numbers-wise, where I see where I'm at compared to where I should be. So make sure that there's transparency. These are not hidden off somewhere for the leaders to see, but the team can see it so that the team can work together. And people do love games. There's a little bit of a gamification. People love playing games and kind of keeping score, whether against somebody else or against themselves or whatever that would be. Especially, salespeople, especially high performers, we love to see these kind of numbers. So make sure that there's full transparency and that these numbers aren't hidden off in the back office for you to see. You want the whole team to see these so we can win together. I also have a bonus training for you at the end that I wanna give you. It's a link you're gonna click at the end of this video. It's gonna show you how to get clients on a large scale. Now, I don't make 1 penny off of it. It is a free guide. The only thing I ask is if you use it, that you give us a testimony when you do start scaling your client base more. Now, before I give that to you, make sure to like and comment. If you have any questions or if you think I missed anything, let me know below in the comments. Also, subscribe and click that bell, the ding, so every time I drop a new video, you're the first one to hear. Again, this is Tim with the Tim Dodd Show, and you can get that link, click that link below to get your free guide, and I will see you soon.